weather. It gives us life, and it takes it away.
The tornado has touched down.
You can't do anything.
It is a thing of staggering beauty and a destructive force, killing thousands every year.
The windows all blew out.
The whole thing's gone.
Holy crap.
It was the end.
It is gone. The building is gone.
And our warmer atmosphere is extra energy for our weather to unleash upon us.
Oh my God!
We meet the people who came face to face with Mother Nature and filmed it.
I've been fighting it for an hour.
I'm gonna sick to my stomach.
Holy! I just lost my house.
We hear firsthand how these people survived.
Oh my God! Get in the house!
He's alive. He's alive.
It's pretty much the end of humanity.
I was really convinced I would die.
Using their incredible self-shot footage, we stare straight into the eye of the storm. And witness up close the sheer force of nature.
Boom! Oh my God, look at that! Oh! Jesus Christ! Everybody take cover, now!
Coming up in this episode, wildfires out of control in Canada. People flee for their lives.
Holy! I just lost my house.
A tornado hits the homes of two sisters, and one gets hit.
Oh my God! Get in the house!
180-mile-per-hour winds batter one of the biggest cruise liners in the world. 4,000 passengers hide in their rooms.
Holy crap.
And a storm drives a herd of pregnant cows into the sea. But do they all survive? A normal day's traffic in Fort McMurray, Alberta, in the heart of Canada. But in early May 2016, east of town, a wildfire was getting out of control.
Holy, this is ground zero. Look at all the people leaving Fort McMurray.
Record temperatures of 32 Celsius and winds of up to 45 miles per hour were the perfect conditions for fire to be whipped up.
I've been here now 12 years. I've never seen something this bad.
It became a multi-headed beast running into town. The entire population of almost 90,000 people were ordered to evacuate. Most got out on time, but Jared Sabovich was working nights and got the message a bit late.
Went out front and just saw that the whole neighborhood was on fire. You know, like everyone's grass was on fire and everything was still raining in. And I just remember thinking it was such a crazy sight. And I just pulled out my video and I just started recording.
Hasty exit. That might have been the last time. Might have been the last time I ever saw my house right there. Holy! Time to make a hasty exit, eh?
On the horizon, a fireball was obliterating everything in its path.
That's the last time I ever saw my house. I know it. Insurance, you better do me good. I just lost my house. No big deal. No big deal. It's all good. That sucker's burning down for sure. You want those reaction vids? Here's one. I'm not crushed, I ain't crying, it's all good. People have gone through worse. Things were good before this and things will be good after this. Good luck, everyone.
Also leaving it late was 25-year-old Michelle Chamberlain, whose dashboard camera captured his escape.
Flames started getting a lot more intense and a lot more closer. You can start smelling a lot of smoke.
Yeah, I could feel the heat in the car. It's not even funny. People would start to panic.
It just felt unreal. It felt like it wasn't happening. I started driving by those flames. When you see them really engulf and embers started falling down, that's when I really thought this was a big fire. This was serious. This was gonna get out of control.
Cars and wild animals jockeyed for position on the roads out of town.
Oh my God.
The road became a tunnel of fire. Each driver had less than an inch of metal to protect them from fast-moving flames, lethal temperatures, and poisonous smoke.
Your eyes started getting watery. You can really start feeling the flames.
I don't know where to go.
It really looked like something that you always see in the news. It was a scary sight, a little too close for comfort.
Oh my God.
The fuel-filled cars could go up at any time. But in the end, Michelle got out safely. On the other side of town, the Braun family scooped up their young children and jumped in the car. 16-year-old Jacob was closest to the flames.
That's really hot.
If you've never been through a wildfire, it's almost apocalyptic. Like, you think that everything's going to be destroyed and like the world is ending because there's so much fire and chaos that it's really scary.
Jacob's family were amongst thousands crammed bumper to bumper and desperate to get out in time.
I can feel the heat through the window.
Driving by the fire on the side of the road, the flames are almost 30 feet high, and the truck that we were in was getting hit by ashes.
Whoa.
Holy crap. The window was hot.
The flames were really high and really close. You could feel the heat coming through the windows.
We're gonna make it. Yep, heading south. Heading south.
But the houses left behind were decimated. Homeowners left the lights on as they abandoned pet fish, family portraits, and prized possessions to the hunger of the fire. Half-drunk bottles of beer and heirlooms were consumed by flames as over 2,000 buildings were flattened by a force of nature.
Oh my God, look at that fire.
Almost 50 helicopters carrying huge buckets of water tried to quench the forest of flames. But in the built-up areas, firefighters like Rob Bonner were running out of water.
The first time we were there in the fire itself, it was a little surreal because everything was burning and then there was fire on both sides and embers floating around and nobody else was around. It was kind of apocalyptic. And without enough water for all the fire, you'd have to really watch a house burn without touching it. We're obviously not used to that. That was the surreal part for me, was just because it was so big that you'd have to just say, well, that house is going to go, and there's nothing you can do about it.
By night 3, some houses had to be sacrificed to save others.
We used backhoes and plows and knocked down two rows of garages and a row of houses because those houses were going to burn anyway. I feel bad for all the people that had to do that. They kind of lost everything.
Next morning, on day 4, it was clear that evacuation was the right call.
Crazy. The whole neighborhood just lost last night. Still feel the heat off these houses and stuff. Just nothing but basements.
Years of homemaking and possessions were gone. And there were still pockets of stubborn resistance.
Okay, we're just having difficulties finding out who we're supposed to lead back to.
Come here next.
More than 1,000 people fought this fire, and yet it continued in rural areas for another 2 months, torching over 1.5 million acres. and those who lost everything had to rebuild their lives.
They thought they had it under control, and then, you know, they lose it, and it did take a lot more than they expected, I guess.
Having gone through that, I feel more independent now, more productive. It's a large experience, so taking something from it would be good.
Every single time I took a picture, it broke my heart. Hey, guitars, you know, you're gone. Hey, record player, you're gone. Hey, drum set, see you later, you know. Everything you worked for, goodbye.
The Alberta wildfire annihilated about 15% of the town, making this Canada's costliest disaster ever. But astonishingly, there was not a single death directly caused by the fire itself. Wildfires are much more common than you'd imagine. The Alberta Fire Department in Canada puts out over 1,000 per year. But a change in wind direction catches this firefighter out. Fires can travel at terrifying speeds of 12 miles per hour, which is a bit faster than a fully kitted up fireman. Luckily, there is a lake just where he needs it. Driving is the quickest way out of a forest fire, but even then you are not always safe. These four men are fleeing an inferno in central Russia. It's torched 2,300 square miles of forest, destroyed 1,000 homes, and killed over 20 people. Burning trees have fallen across the road, but that doesn't deter this driver. But even for the bravest driver, it soon becomes impassable. One of them thinks it would be nice to look out the window. In this smoke, not a good idea. They beat a hasty retreat, the tightest three-point turn ever. The dangerous weather they are now trapped in the forest. But thankfully, they are able to follow another vehicle out. To catch small fires early, firefighters are actually parachuted into remote forest areas. In 2015, a scorching summer set southern Australia alight. These volunteer firefighters are an early response team battling a blaze in Adelaide Hills. They reach a small farm full of pockets of fire. The problem with small mobile units is that they quickly run out of water, like this one. So, finding water supplies on the ground is one of the biggest challenges to fighting wildfires. This man is the last person to flee his home in Anderson Springs, California, during the wildfire of 2015. 500 people lost their homes. But despite all this destruction, wildfires are actually nature's way of rejuvenating forests. They consume thickets and dead wood, allowing bigger trees to grow through. Not that that is much comfort to the people of Anderson Springs. Remote motorways are particularly at risk. Drivers on the Cajon Highway in California are stopped by a blazing brush fire. And just when you don't need a traffic jam, it burns straight towards everyone. Unfortunately for them, wildfires actually travel quicker uphill. Although most people seem more concerned with getting a nice picture, this blaze destroys 20 vehicles and hundreds of people have to flee on foot. Wildfires are not all bad. As well as being nature's way of birthing a new generation of plants and trees, they can also be quite beautiful. This firenado is a combination of fire and mini tornado, with some fire extinguishing foam thrown in. It's an alluring spectacle, but no less dangerous. The twister jumps across the track and ignites a new blaze. Wildfire is Mother Nature at her most beautiful. But don't be seduced. She's just as deadly. One sunny morning in Rice, Navarro County, Texas, Rosanna Vasquez Cobos woke up to find a tornado outside her front door.
The tornado was far away. When it was across the street with the sun behind it, it looked beautiful. I just started filming it.
But when the tornado gathered pace, it changed from beauty to beast and turned towards her house.
Get in the house! Get in.
I'm watching this.
Anthony, I mean it.
Okay. I'm never gonna see this again.
This is from our front porch. Oh my God, look at over there, all that stuff. It's coming right at the house.
A tornado warning went out online and on the radio.
When I received the notification that day from the National Weather Service that severe weather was quickly developing across the northern portion of the county, I immediately went into response mode.
Emergency coordinator Eric Myers hit the road to monitor its path.
Definitely got quite a bit of debris back to my west.
Rosanna had a safe room for tornadoes, but her children were not in it.
Anthony, hurry up! Oh my God, get in here before y'all get hit with something.
Oh shit,
come on, Anthony, Angel. Where's Angel? Where's your sister?
Out on the road, seasoned tornado expert Eric knew he was vulnerable.
Yeah, we have to stop here. Looks like it's going to come across our path just shortly in front of me. Don't want to get too far in front of this in case it makes a right-hand turn.
The twister was still on track for Rosanna's house.
Oh gosh! Hurry up! Get in! Just on the corner of my house, and you can see the tornado. It was on, on our property. As soon as we closed the door and they realized how close, what a close call it was, their eyes were just huge, like, oh crap, this is real.
Her family were finally in the safe room, but Eric's luck had just run out.
We are in a tornado! We are in the 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 tornado! The only thing you can see and the only thing you can feel is the intense bombardment of debris moving.
It shredded the roof of Rice Elementary School, sending chunks of metal towards the open window of Eric's car.
And the sound is unlike anything you've ever heard. The closest thing I can relate it to is a jet engine. And it was just surreal to hear the tornado that close, to feel the brunt force winds coming through, the debris pelting the vehicle. You could hear all of the pops and the dents and the dings happening, and the roar of the tornado was just phenomenal. This just went right over us. Just went right over us. You're in shock. You're in disbelief about what you just went through. I'm just glad to be alive. It's one of those feelings that you hope you only have once in your lifetime.
The tail of the tornado was above Rosanna's house when she emerged, alive but mesmerized.
When I turned and I saw that, I thought it looked beautiful. It looked really amazing.
Rosanna may have survived, but next door, her sister's house took a direct hit.
And then you see that, and then you feel horrible because here you thought this beautiful thing destroyed your sister's house. and could have taken their lives.
We got hit, but not as bad as Naomi, and she's the one that had the worst. Go see they're okay. Brian, go see if Naomi's okay. Oh my God.
Just an awful, awful fear that they weren't okay. Yeah, she's more than my little sister. I just don't know I really don't know what I would have done if I would have lost her. And not that I don't love her family, but she's everything to me.
The tornado came from the west, traveling east. Aerial photos chart the path of devastation through rice. First, it cut a train in half, throwing the containers 160 feet from the track. Next, it hit the school, ripping off the roof and folding the brick walls. Mercifully, it was a Sunday, so the children weren't there. Rosanna's home was spared by a few feet. But next door, her sister Naomi was huddled in a safe room with her husband and 3 young children. It was a direct hit, but unbelievably, no one was injured.
It was an immediate relief. We're just, thanking God, like, oh my gosh, they're good, they're fine.
It was sad and it was hard. We lost a lot of possessions, but my kids were okay.
Naomi's house has since been rebuilt, and she still lives next to her sister, bonded further by surviving some of the world's deadliest weather. Deadly weather and vehicles frequently clash head-on. This driver may have been cut up, but the car in front takes the brunt of the wind. And vanishes. The first concern is the pedestrian wiped out by the side of the road. The white car is nowhere to be seen. But a re-examination of the footage reveals the car's final destination. Lifted up by the tornado and dumped behind the tree. It'll take more than the dashboard tissues to clear up this mess. Deadly weather and the road don't mix. A caravan holiday in Wyoming is not much fun when the wind picks up. There's truckers keeping a close eye on an empty caravan buffeted by strong wind. But sometimes you should be concentrating on what you're doing. Even when you're watching traffic in a storm, things can get electric.
Yeah, some storms going on here. Close to this. Dang! Ah! Hit that freaking tree.
And in bad weather, you never know what's coming from above. Driving in Kuwait is not for the faint-hearted at the best of times, and sandstorms are a natural hazard. You don't want to hang around.
About to be engulfed.
When there's only one way to go, sometimes you have to take what nature throws at you.
It's getting dark. It is officially dark. The sun is blocked out by a sandstorm. Oh my God, you can't see anything. Jesus. No way. I can't believe this. It's completely pitch black dark. Wow. Wow.
In India, keeping the traffic flowing is always a struggle. In the north of the country, cars are held up on this road for good reason. Deadly extremes of temperature over the years had loosened rocks overhanging a well-used highway. From another angle, a road sign is the ultimate in understatement. The roads next to rivers in Venezuela are no less vulnerable. 2 days of rainfall causes a flash flood, taking empty cars with it. But some of them aren't empty. Don't forget the wife. So next time you hit a rainstorm in the car, just remember, it could be a lot worse. Still to come. A hurricane threatens the lives of 4,000 passengers on a holiday of a lifetime as their ship is rocked by 26-foot waves.
Holy crap.
And pregnant ladies try to swim for it as a storm approaches. This is the Anthem of the Seas, a huge brand new cruise liner. Peter and Angela Alupi were among the excited passengers on the £940 million ship heading down the American East Coast to the Bahamas.
This ship is what really attracted us. It's the second largest ship on the ocean. It had Broadway musicals and incredible entertainment.
Absolutely breathtaking. One of the most beautiful ships I've ever seen.
As we had all boarded the ship, the captain came on. He said there was a storm forming in the Carolinas.
Less than 10 months since her maiden voyage, for the first time, the Anthem of the Seas was about to be truly tested against Mother Nature. She sailed straight into hurricane winds off the southeast coast of America.
People at this point were nervous, a little tense.
Jared Johnson was in the gym surrounded by weights when conditions cut up rough.
That's when I heard a big crash and a woman scream, and I turned around, and what had happened was a trash can had actually slid across the entire gym floor and knocked this woman over. And that's when I thought, okay, this is getting bad.
Holy crap.
Everyone was kind of crowded around the windows looking out at the waves because they were so big. I've personally never seen waves that big, and I don't doubt that these people haven't either.
Look, here it comes. Oh my God.
180-mile-an-hour winds whipped up the sea and violently tilted the ship. Giant waves battered the 160-foot-high liner.
Oh my God, look at that wave. That was higher than our ship.
I'm in a storm. It's 123 knots the wind. Everything's moving around. I've got broken glass everywhere.
Horrible. Don't fancy grounded it.
Michael Ricketts and Martin Little's holiday video was turning into a disaster film.
It was something you'd actually seen in an American movie.
Well, we can't get out of it then, can we? Jesus Christ.
We didn't expect to actually hit a hurricane, and we couldn't believe what was actually happening on the ship. It was just horrendous, weren't it? The actual TV screen, actually in the cabin, we could actually see the outside, and everything was just flying around and smashing and falling over. And
Parts of the ship were being claimed by the sea.
Oh, something's out there. What is that? Oh, it's pieces from the ship. That's parts of the ship.
The winds picked up, the rain got heavier, and I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy.
Holy crap. I think we should move.
You look out on the horizon, you couldn't really see it, but you would see the edge of the boat, and it would tilt up past the horizon, then it would dip down several feet below that, and that threw you off quite a bit.
As 170,000 tons of steel bobbed around like a rubber duck in the bath, Captain Klaus Andre Andersen ordered all the passengers to their rooms.
The waves were 70 feet tall. They were hitting up on the 11th deck. The staff were in the corridors, scrambling, hugging and crying in some cases.
I saw everyone's reactions, and they were, they were definitely nervous. A lot were scared. I noticed a couple people crying, just shocked. I saw this pregnant woman, and she was being guided with either her sister or mother, and she was crying. She was not happy. People were kind of like holding on to things and walking slowly, or walking like they almost were drunk. They couldn't, walk a straight line.
If the ship had rolled, it could have killed thousands, but the captain tried to keep everyone calm.
We're looking now at around 8 meters, which is around 25, 26 foot seas. So they are to be considered severe seas that we have on to deal with.
It is absolutely unbelievable. The room's been a wreck, everything's been slung around and dropped everywhere, and glass in the bathroom.
And you can't see anything. You can't see any land, you can't see any horizon. It's just like a wall, isn't it? A wall in front of you. You can't see anything apart from the sea, and that is it.
Oh my God. This is bad. We actually said goodbye to each other. It's very emotional, wasn't it? Because not knowing we're going to see each other again, was the biggest fear, wasn't it? I never dreamt that I would die drowning. And this is one way that I never wanted to die.
In the early hours of the morning, the storm finally passed. Captain Klaus Andre Andersen put on a brave face.
Yesterday turned out to be probably one of my worst days at sea, if not the far worst day at sea. I know many of you was afraid yesterday. It could be much, much worse.
There were just a few minor injuries to passengers, but with another storm brewing and considerable damage on board, the decision was made to return to port.
There were 6,000 souls on board, and all that needs to be taken into consideration when deciding to drive a ship into a storm like that.
Owners Royal Caribbean refunded all passengers, but how many will be rushing to go on a cruise again remains to be seen.
To come home was very disappointing, but at least We're here to tell the story.
This whole experience has changed my outlook on weather and Mother Nature as a whole, and how unpredictable the weather can be.
Because of the sheer power of it and the size of that ship. And you're just helpless, totally helpless. You're just at the mercy of the weather. Absolutely nothing you can do, is there?
No.
Most storms originate out at sea, making sea weather particularly volatile. 1 minute you can be enjoying looking at the waves, like this crewman on a merchant ship in the South Atlantic. The next, well, wait and see. Freak waves happen because of gusty winds, and they can be many times bigger than all the surrounding waves. Luckily, the crewman sees it early, otherwise, he could have been swept off the ship. Freak waves don't just happen on boats. Real or fake, we're not sure, but funny, definitely. Rip currents are the biggest danger for surfers because they drag them out to sea. A beginner surfer is missing and has no chance unless the lifeboat can find him. They spot him, exhausted and towing his surfboard. "20 Australian surfers and 100 surfers worldwide drown every year, most of them in rip currents, which makes them far more deadly than shark attacks. The sea also produces truly weird and beautiful weather, none more so than waterspouts. There are two types, tornado and fair weather waterspouts. This is the fair weather variety, which is just as well because the family in the boat go for a closer look.
Wow! Yeah!
Despite its name, they are not filled with water from the sea, but cloud descending from above. The developing storm clouds drop the spiraling spout to the water's surface, and warm, wet air funnels up it from the sea. Fair weather spouts are harmless, and they dissipate when they hit land.
Wow!
Tornado waterspouts, on the other hand, are potentially lethal. They are fully fledged tornadoes from supercell storms forming over the sea.
Was it just me, or was that really close?
Myrtle Beach in Florida takes a direct hit at the height of summer.
Oh, dude.
Rapidly spinning winds swing in, ripping up the beach and chasing down tourists. The extremes of high and low air pressure smash windows and overturn buses. It is rated as an EF2 on the Fujita scale, with winds of over 120 miles per hour, causing millions of dollars worth of damage in a matter of minutes. And as the oceans get warmer, it's feared that our weather will become more volatile, fueled by warmer air, creating fiercer, even more deadly atmospheric conditions. Animals can sense dangerous weather even when we can't. A lesson learnt by farmer Alan Jago on the south coast of Ireland.
I've been farming since I've been knee-high to grasshopper, farming alongside Dad. So it was 10 to 5 and my phone rang and it was Dad. And Dad said, come over straight away and bring a rope. And that's when I knew something was drastically wrong. And I headed over to the field where the heifers were. So as I came to the field, I saw no cattle in the field. I saw the wire snapped, and then I could see all these little tracks through the firs.
In November 2015, a sea storm was brewing, and his cows panicked. They broke through an electric fence and tried to shelter in some coastal rocks. With the light fading and the weather worsening, they had to be moved to safety, urgently.
I literally see 11 animals stuck inside in the sea, with my father one side of the rocks and my brother on the other side, trying to keep them back in as they were trying to kind of swim out to sea. I came down my ropes and I said, what are we going to do with these ropes? And they both turned around and said to me, we don't know either, but we know we need to do something.
With cows and farmers out of their depth, Alan alerted the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, and these volunteers faced a unique rescue.
Pagers went off, we assembled in the station, we launched, and we proceeded to the casualty area.
Even the dolphins seemed like they wanted to help. Back on the rocky outcrop, the tide was coming in rapidly. The cows were beginning to panic.
They were hurting their legs, they were hurting their hooves, they were hurting their sides, they were falling, they were cutting themselves. It really was a helpless and a hopeless situation for both the animals and ourselves. We were down with the animals for maybe 3/4 of an hour. It seemed like a day. It was the longest time ever. You heard the sound of this motor coming around the headland, and it was just the most fantastic sight you ever see.
But the lifeboat spooked the pregnant animals even more.
Again, a boat, they've never seen a boat before. These guys in big suits.
They decided to pull the heifers and their unborn calves to the safety of the next door beach, where they could walk out of the sea. Mark planned to lasso them around the neck, and the boat would pull them round the headland. But lassoing cows at sea isn't that easy. One cow attempted to make an escape, but turned back in fear, straight into Mark's rope.
The guy in the boat pulled the heifer out straight away, but immediately it was quite obvious that the head of the animal was going under the water. The power of a 500 kg animal, if that was to get on top of him or whatever, it could have been a very, very serious situation for all concerned.
Mark stayed with the panicked lady all the way around the headland.
I basically held onto their heads and swam with them. Now and again they would kick you as they were swimming, but you just keep on driving their heads towards where you wanted to go and swim alongside them. No, it wasn't the first time I had a kick from the cow, and definitely won't be the last.
The first cow made it to the beach safely.
The care they showed to the animals, the compassion they showed to them, it made me as a farmer feel very relaxed. But I think the way they treated the animals also were very relaxed.
The cows were beginning to trust Mark and his team, but they didn't all do what they were told.
As I was herding some of the cows over to the rocks, one cow went off into a cave, and with the weather driving them in there and the waves, so I swam in with the rope in my mouth.
We had no idea what was going to happen or how far this alcove went in. This animal had literally nowhere to go, and you were this incredible guy, this volunteer.
When I was in the cave, the waves and weather was breaking over the cow, so it was probably the worst place to be. Climbed up over him and put the rope over his neck, and with the help of the other lifeboat crew, we pulled him back out to safety.
Swim in past this animal and literally push the animal back out with the help of a rope. It was just incredible to see it. After you pulled the first 2 or 3 across, the rest of them had a bit of confidence they were able to swim across onto the rocks. And it did take them, some of them maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes to actually get on their feet because they were just shattered at that stage. With a bit of veterinary treatment and that, and a bit of TLC, tender loving care, they all came right in the end.
When we returned to the station and refueled the boat and got it ready to go again, we all decided to go to McDonald's to cheer ourselves up. We did.
There are 2 types of people in life. Some that can deal with and relish the results of the world's most extreme weather. And some that can't. Some feel they can take on a puddle. But get out of their depth. If it's not treacherous puddles, people can also be fooled by the exact depth of snow. In Wales, rain may occasionally stop play and block drains.
Just gushing out of the manholes.
But for this champion sewage swimmer, it's an opportunity.
Oh, it looks lovely. You can do it! Keep going! You're halfway there!
With the job done, this guy has no fear of putting the effort into effluent.
He's probably contracted like at least 5 parasites and 2 diseases now.
In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature at her wildest and worst. We've seen how powerless we really are. And next time there will be more, because weather stops for no one. The weather. It gives us life, and it takes it away.
The tornado has touched down.
You can't do anything.
It is a thing of staggering beauty and a destructive force, killing thousands every year.
The windows all blew out.
The whole thing's gone.
Holy crap.
It was the end.
It is gone. The building is gone.
And our warmer atmosphere is extra energy for our weather to unleash upon us.
Oh my God!
We meet the people who came face to face with Mother Nature and filmed it.
I've been fighting it for an hour.
I'm gonna sick to my stomach.
Holy!
I just lost my house.
We hear firsthand how these people survived.
Oh my God! Get in the house!
He's alive. He's alive.
It's pretty much the end of humanity.
I was really convinced I would die.
Using their incredible self-shot footage, we stare straight into the eye of the storm. And witness up close the sheer force of nature.
Oh my God, look at that! Oh! Jesus Christ! Everybody take cover, now!
Coming up in this episode, a devastating hurricane destroys a Mexican resort. Boom! 3 fishermen almost drown when their ships wrecked in Ireland.
It's amazing what Mother Nature can do to you, and do to everybody else.
And we see how weather can rip apart our buildings. Cabo San Lucas in Mexico. It was the height of summer 2014, and the holiday resort was in full swing. But these carefree holidaymakers' dream vacation was about to turn into a living nightmare.
Ooh boy! Waves coming over the top.
The most powerful hurricane to ever make Mexican landfall was beelining straight for the hotel.
So this is what it looks like when a Class 4 hurricane is coming to Cabo San Lucas.
At 6 p.m., Hurricane Odile was under 100 miles from the coast.
Ouch! All right, time to go, time to go.
All guests at the resort were ordered to their rooms for their own safety, including Jason Beecham and his family.
The weather just picked up, and you could see 40 to 50 foot wave faces right out in front of our hotel. It was pretty insane. Just big black cloud just kept moving in. I was a little bit nervous, but with the hurricane coming in, but I figured we were in a pretty solid concrete building.
Here to cover this enormous hurricane, professional storm reporter Josh Morgerman was outside as it ramped up.
It was getting windy and rainy, and you were hearing that roaring sound outside. As we got deeper into the evening, it started to feel like, okay, this is a serious hurricane.
At 7:30 p.m., the eye of Hurricane Odile continued to spin a deadly path towards the resort and was now only an hour away. Up in Jason's hotel room, where his family were sheltering, all power was lost, and the torrential rain infiltrated the room.
It's going through the light. Hi, honey.
It really started to pick up. Basically just got louder and louder, and me being not so smart at the time, I went for a look.
Winds were now reaching 100 miles per hour, but they had not peaked yet.
When I almost got blown down the hallway, that's when I decided to head back in and kind of stay in for the night.
He was just in time. Moments later, Hurricane Odile moved up a gear.
Woo! Oh! The lock, I'm gonna need your help. The lock came open.
At 8:30 p.m., Josh, now back at his hotel lobby, had to help staff barricade the glass front doors before the full force of Odile blew them in. Then, like a jet engine cutting out, the 100-mile-per-hour plus winds suddenly stopped.
It's like somebody flipped a switch. Within a few minutes, it's just dead calm and silent. Quite an eerie sound.
The front of the hotel has been mangled. It just looks like it went through a blender. These pillars have just been torn out. This building really took a beating. This was a scary storm. Now the crazy thing was, that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was coming.
But the eerie calm inside the eye of Odile did not last.
Wow. I said to the hotel manager, that sounds like gunshots. And he said, yeah, that does sound like gunshots. That was actually debris hitting the building. About 10 seconds later, boom. Just get under. Oh my God. Stay in there. Stay under. Keep it.
In the upstairs rooms, hundreds of guests were now cowering in the bathrooms as the storm smashed the already battered resort to breaking point.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Down in the lobby, Josh and the staff were horribly exposed to flying glass and were forced to dive into the nearest room.
Okay, backside of this cyclone is much worse. This building is getting literally torn apart, and we're trying to find a safe place.
But as the winds intensified to 125 miles per hour, they were now trapped in an office that could meet the same fate as the lobby.
We realized that we weren't safe because the hotel office was just a whole solid wall of windows with the wind pulsing against them. And I just thought, oh boy, we're in trouble. Yeah, the building's shaking. You should get down, because if those windows go, you want to be low. We felt like the office windows were going to break. We're trying to plan our escape to just get out of here and get to a safer part of the building. Let's see if we can make it. We're going to run for it. And we just came out of the office, and as soon as it looked like there was a break, we just ran across. Okay. We're going to try again.
Cut and bruised, they reached the stairwell, but they had been just seconds from being crushed. Josh and the staff sheltered in the stairwell for a further hour.
We're riding this out in a small area near the bathrooms, and we're just going to sit here until it passes.
Before ordeal finally began to retreat.
And it's a little before 2 a.m. The worst of this hurricane has passed, but you could see what it did to this lobby. It's just like smashed wreck.
By morning, the resort town of Cabo San Lucas resembled a war zone. The town had been devastated. A state of emergency was declared and the army were called in to deal with the aftermath. Jason and his family emerged unscathed from the hotel to witness the devastation before them.
I guess it opens your eyes quite a bit on how little most people are prepared for anything like that, including ourselves, you know. I mean, we're on holiday. It's not like we had a plan, or if we needed to get out of there, we just had to make it up as we went.
The airport was wrecked, and all scheduled flights were cancelled. Jason was among 4,000 tourists evacuated on emergency flights laid on by the Mexican military. Ordeal would claim 18 lives across Mexico and the southwestern United States. Rebuilding the town and tourism industry cost $1.2 billion and took months. But despite the destruction and many minor injuries, none of the guests at Cabo's resorts lost their lives. After years of reporting on hurricanes, Josh puts Ordeal among the most brutal he has ever faced.
I've been in almost 30 hurricanes and typhoons, and this was definitely, I would say, one of the most treacherous of my career. I was glad to get out only with cuts and scrapes. It was miraculous that there weren't more fatalities.
Hurricanes can lay claim to truly being the world's deadliest weather. These twisting behemoths can be 1,200 miles wide and unleash the same energy as a 10-megaton nuclear bomb every 20 minutes. They need warm, wet air as fuel, so they always form over equatorial oceans. As this 1,100-foot cruise liner sails into a North Atlantic hurricane, it's tossed around like a rubber duck.
Holy crap!
30-foot swells terrorize passengers 300 miles out at sea with the fear of capsizing. When Hurricane Sandy makes landfall in Ocean City, New Jersey, beachside residents are the first to be hit. Fleeing tsunami-like waves crashing into their properties. Whoa! As a hurricane moves further inland, it brings with it winds of up to 200 miles per hour, comparable only to a tornado in its power, and capable of destroying anything in its path.
Oh my God. Oh my God! Oh my God. Oh! Oh my God!
Shit! Our tree!
You're...
Our tree!
It hit your car! Oh my God! Oh my God!
It hit my car!
Oh, their car!
Oh my God!
What happened? Their car got crushed!
Oh my God!
Next to be unleashed by this multi-headed beast are huge volumes of torrential rain, destructively mixing with the gale force winds. This devastating combination unleashed torrential floods across the Philippines as Typhoon Haiyan destroyed towns and killed thousands. This homeowner is one of the lucky ones who manages to ride out the hurricane. Their dog is equally as close to becoming another victim. But it too manages to cling on for dear life. Even modern urban areas offer little protection after a powerful hurricane. The flooded aftermath of Hurricane Sandy leaves this couple in New York frantically looking for a way out of this submerged city street.
Don't go there! Too high!
After Hurricane Katrina passes, it still sends thousands of New Orleans residents fleeing to their roofs. The combined force of wind and rainfall fatally weakens the river's levees, flooding 80% of the city. Even after a hurricane's relatively brief destructive journey, its cataclysmic effects continue. Kinsale, on Ireland's rugged southwest coast. In April 2016, the day was drawing to a close when volunteers from the Royal National Lifeboat Institution got a call about some fishermen in trouble.
We didn't know what we were going out to. I think we knew that there was some fishermen getting blown onto the shore at the harbour, in the harbour. That's about all we knew. I was thinking anyway, sure, it's probably just some lads down with no experience out on a little boat and they're after getting blown onto the shore. And then as soon as the fishing vessel came into sight, you know, suddenly it dawns on you, okay, this is a big boat, and, you know, immediately you think, well, we've got a small boat, that's a big boat.
The Sean Anthony had arrived from Portugal, greeted by a force aid.
So we had to approach it with extreme caution, obviously, because, I mean, there was a huge swell there, you know, and I was driving our boat onto the shore as well, and I was hammering the fishing vessel, which was just basically, after hitting the rocks, it was driving them further up the shoreline, basically, and it's a very jagged shoreline around that area.
Was it going to capsize? Was it going to turn over? You know, was it going to start breaking up in front of us? Were the guys going to get washed off?
The rescue team were in as much danger as the fishermen. They couldn't get close. The only option was to drop anchor and encourage the fishermen to jump and swim for it.
Put your feet in there.
Second fisherman safe, the captain was almost going down with his ship.
The last guy to get off seemed to hesitate a little bit, and we were kind of holding our breath for him to get away from the boat, because I think at one stage he was submerged while he was still holding on.
Conditions were deteriorating. Force 8 was turning into Force 9. It was a life or death decision. He had to time his jump to perfection.
My heart stopped for a second, I suppose. Did this fellow, is he going to get pulled into the water? Is he going to get hammered against the trawler? Is he going to be pulled underneath the trawler? There's so many different options and so many different things that could go wrong, all of it because of the weather conditions were so bad.
Once in the water, he was either going to be thrown back against the trawler or swim for his life.
Sigh of relief, and basically once we had him on board there was kind of a bit of a smile, and we were delighted. They knew they were safe and we were safe, and that was the most important thing. And boats can be replaced, everything can be replaced, but I mean human life can't be replaced. Okay.
Okay. 2 hands. Okay.
Both crews had been through a traumatic situation.
It's amazing what Mother Nature can do to you, and do to everybody else, basically. So, I mean, to frighten you, and the amount of respect that you have to show to it, and just take a step back and, appreciate what you have,
Okay, lads, one at a time.
Okay, number 1. Number 2.
For the next 2 months, the stricken hull of the Sean Anthony would serve as a stark warning of the deadly dangers of the sea. Sometimes weather can be as weird as it is deadly. This carefree beachgoer is unaware that one of the weirder weather phenomena is heading his way. Waterspouts such as these usually occur out at sea. However, this one is about to transform from a curiosity into something potentially deadly.
Underwater tornado! Yeah, sure. Oh my God, so cool! Oh my God!
Oh, bounce house! Oh, these kids on it!
Despite there being 3 children and an adult on this bouncy castle at the moment of impact, incredibly, no one is seriously hurt. Froggy's Beach on Australia's Gold Coast is known for its beach weddings, big surf, and bizarrely its foam. A curious marine byproduct of tropical storms, the foam itself is harmless, though what it does is mask the sea swell and the deadly sharks and snakes inhabiting it, which doesn't put these swimmers off. But once the swell and winds pick up, this fascinating curiosity is blown inland and causes chaos on the roads. These drivers on the Sunshine Coast encounter 6 feet of sea foam submerging the highway.
Crazy. Oh, look at it. That is just crazy. It's going under.
Eventually, they are forced to abandon their vehicles to avoid a serious pileup, until this strange nightmare retreats back to sea.
He's got out of his car and he's saying stop. Look, that white one's going so fast.
Missouri winters are notoriously harsh, but an ice tsunami is a new one for these residents.
It's pushing forward. This is crazy. Look at this.
A perfect storm of high winds and breaking ice pushes glaciers onto land and slowly but surely towards people's houses.
Nikki, it's really pushing in. It's just pushing and pushing and pushing. Oh my God, their door's in. You need to call somebody.
This enormous wall of ice forces its way through the windows and even the walls of dozens of beachside homes, taking months for shocked residents to clear up and rebuild. Arachnophobes turn away now. Flash flooding can cause a phenomenon known as ballooning, where spiders flee to higher ground. In their thousands in this case, as they take over this Australian park. This weird weather event is a real collector's item. After a scrubland fire by the Angara River in Siberia, the rising smoke is wrapped up by a mini twister, forming a stunning smoke-nado.
Oh my goodness.
So when you think you've seen it all, remember our weather can catch us out with its weirdness at any moment. Coming up, Snowpocalypse strikes North America, causing a deadly 194-car pileup. A summer fair in Lincolnshire is ripped apart by a tornado.
I just grabbed Lucas and I just ran.
And we witness the hidden dangers of extreme winters. November 2014. Snowfall of epic proportions pummels the northern United States, with 7 feet falling in 24 hours.
2 to 3 feet of snow fell in many parts of western New York last night.
We woke up this morning, it was just plastered all over the windows.
A major effort is now underway to clear out abandoned vehicles that are scattered throughout the South Towns.
The snow is several feet, probably 7 or 8 feet high or more along the roadways.
The giant storm was caused by the lake effect. A cold front from the Arctic passed over the warmer Great Lakes, generating a vast wall of snow. The snow fell with such speed and ferocity that drivers were unprepared. Across North America, there were countless accidents as the roads iced over. Blizzard after blizzard reduced visibility to zero. This driver in West Virginia somehow manages to avoid crashing in what became a 40-car pileup. Further north in Michigan, another driver, Jay Ellis, had to deal with the freak weather.
If you were raised here in Michigan, you pretty much know how to drive in this type of conditions, typically. You were driving along, next thing you knew, everything went from bright and sunny to dark and kind of whiteout conditions.
Ahead of him, 3 articulated lorries had crashed into a car, blocking both lanes of the interstate.
Next thing I saw were headlights coming on rapidly. So I slowed my vehicle down, not knowing that there were vehicles behind me still flying up behind me. I got hit from behind and shoved into the vehicles right in front of me. In my mind, it was like, oh crap, what's gonna happen next?
No. Oh no. Oh. Watch out, watch out, watch out.
I kind of felt like a bowling pin being hit by a bunch of bowling balls from behind.
What do you think? You can't do anything.
Bystanders were helpless as they watched this terrifying crash escalate.
Let's see if we can help people. Can you get out? Get out of your vehicle, hurry up. Gotta get out.
Now all these cars are piling in behind me.
Watch yourself.
What am I was kind of terrified because I didn't know what was happening. More concentrating on what was going on ahead of me than I was with the things that were going on behind me, which is why I didn't realize there were that many vehicles behind mine.
More vehicles kept coming, and the pileup would eventually involve 194 cars and lorries. But the danger was now of a massive explosion.
On our side of the highway, there was a truck that actually caught fire that turns out actually had fireworks in it.
I mean, it's bad. It's raging right there. I mean, those are cars and trucks and semis burning like you can't believe.
I thought it was going to get bad enough. Well, it's going to get rid of all the fireworks.
Yeah, they got a big mess.
Is that your truck?
As the fire teams worked, many people were kept inside their cars for their own safety.
Being stuck in my vehicle, not being able to drive to someplace safe away from all this, it was absolutely terrifying. It looked like a bomb had gone off.
The winter of 2014-15 became known as Snowpocalypse. Transportation came to a standstill as crashed or stuck cars were abandoned everywhere.
Right? I mean, it's just car after car, and it's like trucks and cars. And
Oh, yeah.
no one's safe.
Worst affected was Buffalo in New York State, which had 7 feet of snow in 48 hours.
Wow.
This was probably the biggest snowfall in US history. It shorted power lines and cut electricity for whole neighborhoods.
The power lines.
No, Dad,
That's
that's
a
a
house.
house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's fucking cold out here. What's wrong?
A Michigan resident filmed this spectacular show outside her house. Lights in a nearby house flashed on and off. Eventually, it's too much for the power transformer to take.
Out his way.
This explosion left 10,000 people with no electricity. Snowpocalypse claimed 14 lives. Almost all workplaces shut down, and everyday life across the northern states ground to a halt. The huge snowstorms of North America may actually be caused by rising temperatures, not falling ones. The Great Lakes have warmed by 2.5 Celsius in the last 35 years, so they rarely freeze over. In winter, the freezing fronts from the Arctic encounter more moisture, so now the lake-effect snowstorms carry more snow. It's still a bit chilly for a swim, though, even for a Labrador. Strangely, warm temperatures often leads to colder weather. In midsummer Austria, the previous day was in the tail end of a heat wave, topping 36 degrees Celsius. But now the temperatures are near freezing. The heat wave sent moisture skyward, and 6 miles into the air, where it's a chilly -60 Celsius. There it formed into hailstones, which became too big to stay airbound. They plunged down to Earth, bringing the freezing air with them, and rained chaos on the summer weather. Of course, when it is cold, the danger is not always from above. He falls into a snow sinkhole, caused by a spring melting away the snow under the surface. Unlucky, but he got out okay. Ice causes havoc in our everyday lives. A slippery layer of water forms on the surface. Scientists can't agree on why. But there's no denying it does. This leads to the biggest danger of all in big freezes. In Russia, driving in ice is an essential skill, not yet mastered by this driver. Luckily, there's no one waiting for the bus, though this driver should be confined to one. In Winnipeg, Canada, the polar chill makes ice driving an occupational hazard for truckers. But the crash warnings on the radio don't appear to concern this driver. At this speed, crashes are no joking matter. The lorry up ahead is turning right. The 10-ton truck's stopping distance is over 300 feet.
No, 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 no.
If the driver hits the brakes, the wheels will lock. But options are disappearing fast. It's a close shave, but the danger's not over yet. Miraculously, they come to rest in one piece. Forget driving. This skater from Sweden has invented an entirely new way to injure himself on ice, proving that perhaps the biggest danger in a big freeze is ourselves. The quaint village of Friskney in Lincolnshire, England, is not a place you would expect to encounter a tornado. Local postman Harry Smith and his family were gearing up for the highlight of the summer calendar, the annual Friskney Show.
Absolute typical British summer's day. Rain one minute, blazing hot sunshine the next, and then back to the rain and back to the sunshine. There was nothing that made us think that anything apart from a bit of rain was going to hit at all at the show.
As the rain fell harder, teacher Sam Stanhope was unaware that a tornado was forming just a mile away.
All of a sudden, this kind of weird wind kind of started to really whip up. So I said to my sister, we're going to go home. And then we started to walk out of the showground.
As the tornado approached, Harry's children couldn't be torn away from the bouncy slide.
It was getting quite slippery on there, and we was all hiding under the umbrellas while they were quite happy getting wet. I'm not a little guy, and I was holding the umbrella, and it took all my strength to hold onto that.
Harry had not seen the twister, beelining for the showground. With tornadoes capable of flattening buildings, a bouncy castle would stand no chance.
Lucas was having a fit at the top. It ended up me having to shout at him.
Come on, you two!
We were still stood virtually at the bottom of the slide, and Lucas had just got off. He just went straight up and then just started to spin over our heads. I just grabbed Lucas and I just ran. And I didn't want to let go. And all I wanted to do was get him as far away from that as possible. Just panic. People screaming. A lot of the other stalls were being destroyed and thrown about. And obviously with the castle over our heads, get away from this, because we don't know which direction it's going to come down.
The first thought I had when I saw the slide in the air was whether there were any children on there, and I just watched as the slide kind of came down and landed in the middle of the road. I dropped everything. We just ran over to where the slide landed, and obviously a lot of other people had kind of started to gather around as well.
I'm videoing it.
Fortunately, Harry's children had left the slide in time.
It's very worrying when you look back at it as, my God, my kids were on that. And it's very, very scary. If the children had been on it still, it's quite possible they would have been killed.
Despite being turned into a scene of destruction within minutes, miraculously, no one was hurt.
It really does bring home just how fragile it all is and how dangerous nature really can be. In an instant, it was unbelievably quick.
Tornadoes like these are more common than you would think. In England, there are more per square mile than in any other country in the world. All it takes is to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Lucas was, no, I don't want to go near a bouncy castle ever again.
When it comes to bad weather hitting our man-made structures, only the strongest survive. As we've seen, bouncy castles and weather don't go together. In this case, all it took was a sharp gust of wind to send it flying. Fleeing revelers escaped serious injury by inches. When a brutal storm hit Copenhagen, this flimsy scaffolding didn't stand a chance. Going. Going. Gone. With a tornado fast approaching, these workers in Uruguay have two options for shelter: the thin metal sheds to the right, or the tiny porter cabin behind them. They only discover they've made the right choice when they see the buildings opposite get blown away. A night at the cinema is probably the last place you'd expect to be greeted by a torrential downpour. But for these moviegoers in the Philippines, the worst is yet to come. 9 people were injured, but it could have been much, much worse. When it comes to our homes, if deadly weather doesn't destroy them, it can be sure to leave its mark. It's just as well the residents of this home in Queensland, Australia, aren't out enjoying their balcony when Cyclone Marcia hits. Miami tower blocks are built to withstand Florida's frequent hurricanes. but the same cannot be said for outdoor furniture. As armchairs, deck chairs and tables rain down on the street below. It's a miracle this unexpected shower didn't cause a pile-up. Even if weather can't damage your home, it can still trap you in it.
It is now 5 feet high outside my door. Cat for scale. Winter is coming.
Leaving this Canadian housebound for another day.
Control, Alt, Delete.
But ultimately, nature will have its way one way or the other, as Hawaiian homeowner Gary Sleek found out the hard way. With the knowledge that a devastating river of lava is heading his way, he has no option but to put the laundry on and wait for the inevitable. The approaching lava flow sparks wildfires in the sun-baked scrubland, which heads straight for his home. But Gary chooses to embrace the certain destruction by sitting back and admiring the show with friends. So next time deadly weather hits, be sure to choose your safe haven carefully. In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature in all her fury. We've seen how helpless we can be.
Nikki, it's really pushing in.
As she tears down, destroys, and laughs in our faces. And next time there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.